Hello, Gemini. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Gemini is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment, consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. If there is anything you would like me to pray over or meditate upon or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Gemini, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. We begin with a Queen of Pentacles. You are somebody who is very practical. I think you know how to do a lot of things. You have a practical wisdom about you. I think that you're someone who's able to look at the past and see everything that you've ever been through, the ups and downs, the twists and turns, right? The long, winding road that it took for you to get right here where you are today, and to understand all the lessons that you've learned, and to distill all of your experiences into something actionable, practical. I think you're kind of a very pragmatic person right now. You're looking at the past. That's what the queens do. They look at the past. Process, something from the past, processing the endings of things. So you're looking through everything you've ever done in life, and you're understanding a couple of things. One, you're understanding what those lessons were, what the practical lessons were. Touch a hot stove, you get burned. Okay, practical wisdom, don't touch hot stoves, right? So it's very, very actionable. It makes sense, right? But you're also looking back at your past and seeing that there's been a thread. There's been a particular road that you seem to have been on that's led you right here. Right? This is the card of karma in that way, understanding kind of like literally the cause and effect of life, how everything that's ever happened to me, every thought, word, and deed I've ever had, I've ever experienced, has led me to this very moment. Therefore, every thought, word, and deed in the present moment is going to lead you to your future self. Who you are, where you are, what you're doing in the past, every moment past is helping you to create your present, and every thought, word, and deed in the present is creating who you are, where you are, and what you're doing down the road. So I find that you're a very practical person, and you're really understanding that kind of cause and effect, how the past creates our present, and our present creates our future. Okay? This is that turning point for you, where I think you're learning the lessons of something, you're processing a very practical ending of something, what kind of tools you gained from something that has ended, a situation that's over, and how you can take that tool and use it to create, your future life. Let's put this card into a little bit of context, and let's see what's going on for you. We have the Eight of Pentacles. There it is. Very calm, patient, very pragmatic. Okay. Learning from the past, learning from mistakes, learning from the wins and the losses, really, and growing a little bit. This is like another tool added to your tool belt. I see you walking around like a lot of tools on your tool belt. And there it is again, the Eight, right? The Eight of Wands, creative problem solving. So you have a lot of tools in your toolbox. And your creativity is you understanding which tool to apply to which problem, in which way, how to use the tool. It's one thing to know, like, okay, screwdrivers drive screws. Okay, I understand that. But how do you do it? It's like there's an art to it, knowing when to use a particular screwdriver for a particular screw and what kind of material you're using. There's a whole art to it, So it's one thing that you have the tools. It's another thing that you know how to use those tools, when to use them, and how to use the right one for the right job. That's real wisdom. Okay? That's real wisdom. This is good. Back here you have that 10 of Wands. So it is an effort that is completed. Okay? This is a job that's done. You've hauled all your sticks or whatever. You think of the 10 of wands in the Rider-Waite, someone carrying a big bundle of sticks. You've brought your big load to where it belongs, and you're done. You can set it down, and you're understanding the ending, all that effort that you put into it, right? Maybe you're thinking, maybe there's a more efficient way to do that. Maybe that's one of the tools you're learning is, okay, next time, bring a buddy. Next time, bring a wheelbarrow. Next time, use a bulldozer or so, I don't know what. Get a pickup truck next time, right? There's the Ace of Pentacles, because there's going to be a next time. And you've got your Emperor energy, the power. Feeling the power of knowing how to make those executive decisions. A fortified ego that is confident that I got the right tool for the right job, and I know how to employ that tool to make the next phase, my next project, my next task, my next your next burden, to make it a little bit easier. Yeah. Path of the Serpent, we have a 5 of wands. That's the dynamics. Okay. Knowing how hard to push and when to push and when to not push, when to strive, when to yield, when to run forward and when to rest. We have our universe card or the world card as your environment. Right now, the world's your oyster. Right now, you have the whole world opened up in front of you, fire and earth, Emperor and universe. This is the ultimate manifestation cards. All right? This confidence that I can manifest anything. I know how to do it. I've got the right tools. I've got the right wisdom. I've got the practical experience. I know how to direct my energy. I know what tools to use and how to apply them to the right materials. There's you doing that actual work. And there's another Aries energy. We're ready to begin. The knights are looking at the future. The queens are looking at the past. So this is about you using the experience you just went through. Maybe this is the last year of your life. Using that time frame, all your experiences, the long and winding road, the twists and turns, right? The physical changes and detours, and the emotional ups and downs, right? That's what I mean when I say the long and winding road. You went, over the river and through the woods. You got dragged through the briar patch. There's been wins and losses. Using all the experiences of the past year, let's say, or this past segment of your life, the past cycle or phase, and distilling all of this experience down into practical, actionable wisdom, new tools for your toolbox. That's what the reading is about, because what you have up here are the beginnings. Because you're going to have to start something new here pretty soon, right? Your whole life is going to be changing because you're setting out on a new adventure. You're leaping into something knowing, with the confidence, the fortified ego, this sense of power, right? A power drive, right? That you understand what you're doing, how to do it, and what to apply your energy to. Okay? It's not even saying whether this was a win or a loss. It's both. It's all of it. It's everything. The 10 of wands here is the effort that you put into something. I think there were wins and losses back here. This isn't saying whether this was just a beautiful, wonderful, good experience or whether this was like, just a burden and it was. No, it's saying that this is a particular period of time where you put a lot of effort into something. And now the queen is looking at this and thinking, what did I learn from this? What new tools did you gain? What tools did you develop? Right? What skills did you learn and that sort of thing? What wisdom did you acquire? And how, as you move forward now into the next year or the next phase of your life, how can you operate more effectively and efficiently in your manifestations? Okay. Now, did you find a fossil or something recently? Spirit showed me a little, I don't know if it's like something encased in amber. It's like a little, I don't know what it is. It's a little fossil or something, right? What is that fossil for you? I don't know. I don't know if it's something that you bought or something you found, but it's something that you kind of, you have and you like it. I don't know what its purpose is. Anyway, mystery card. Let's select the mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. I almost forgot. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. This might be a card that gives us the tool that you acquired. I think one of the tools is patience and efficiency, We're learning that this was a lot of effort put into something. I think you're learning next time how to do it without spending so much of your energy. You're learning how to work smarter, right? Not harder. But I think this is going to be something along those lines. We're going to put Dwight K. Schrute right there on top. We're not going to look at that card until the very end, but it will tie everything together. It will give you the confirmation that you need at the end of the reading. If you have a prediction for that card at any moment during this message, put that prediction in the comment section below the video. All right. Now, as we look around the room, we see our two major arcana cards, the art and science of manifestation, fire and earth, the spiritual electrical circuit of creation. Okay? You're trying to become a more efficient manifester of your destiny, of your personal reality. You're building a world. You're building your environment, you're building your home, you're building your future. You're building up yourself. Okay? What this efficiency and the acquisition of the new tools and skills, this is something that you're acquiring. This is what the last phase of your life, the last segment of time has taught you. New skills, new tools. That's giving you a sense of power. That you can now use those new tools in combination with all your existing tools and skills in order to continue to manifest your world. This is someone who's very confident that they can manifest whatever it is they wish. Whatever their true will desires, okay? So we've got our two majors. It's all about manifestation, fire and earth. We got fire, fire, fire in the key positions here. So this really is about your power drive, about you feeling that you have the tools and the skills, I would call it the schools, that you do, and you do in a way have the school. You got the old school and the new schools, that you have what you need, that you feel empowered to manifest whatever it is that you're manifesting in your life, to go forward with gusto, to go forward with confidence and no hesitation, right? Fire, 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 the power drive, and of course our emperor right in the middle. This represents the archetype of the power drive, a fortified ego that feels powerful. There's a confidence, there's an agency, there's an autonomy here. Okay, this is the power drive, which kind of goes in conjunction with our creative drive and our pleasure drive. But this is about the power drive for you. Okay, that you're learning about your own power and how to properly harness that power through efficiency, through patience, through refinement, through using your skills and tools more efficiently. You're burning less gas. It's like you're figuring out how to tune up your car so that it can go faster, right? But use less fuel. It's perfect. That's a win-win. That's what we want. That's power, right? How to get the most power we can out of our machine without it breaking down or without wasting a bunch of our fuel. Yeah. Of course, so we've got our fire. We have more fire underneath here. Of course, our emperor is fire. We don't have any water. What else do we have? Earth, 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 and earth. Your whole reading is fire and earth. The spiritual electrical circuit of creation. Yeah. That is, it's will to action. It's inspiration to implementation. It's impulse to behavior. It's heaven to earth. It's above to below. It's inside to outside. It's that spiritual creation. It's the art and science of manifestation. What does the fire and the earth have to go through to connect? The fire has to go through water and air to get to the earth. And of course, the water and the air is you, your human personality. You are the conductor of that spiritual electrical circuit of creation. That's why I'm all about the manifestation, right? I'm about doing it right. I'm about understanding exactly what it is so that we can do it efficiently. Your mind has to be clear, your heart has to be pure, and that will conduct the electricity right to the earth energy where you enact the behaviors. You use the tools and build the thing you're building. You build the life, you build the world, right? You have all fire and earth here. It literally, even the emperor, of course, is Aries, that's fire. You have the world or the universe card, which is Saturn and earth, right? So this is basically the earth card, the universe itself. Why don't you have any water and air? Well, I think because your mind and heart are already purified. already on board here. Already there's no issue here being brought about by Spirit that's saying, hey, your mind is kind of working against you, or hey, your heart isn't in the right place. No, your heart's in the right place. Your mind is clear and sharp. Because you're looking at the past and you're understanding what you need to learn, what lessons there were, how I can be more efficient, how you can be more patient, how you needed to grow, and how you did already grow through that hard work. You busted your ass back here. Pardon my language. This is a family show. You learned, you grew, you developed those skills, and you refined those tools. You were gifted a new tool, a new piece of equipment by the universe. Kind of reminds me like an MMORPG game or something. This is the acquisition of those, habits, behaviors, the beliefs, the functions, the way of doing things, the techniques, the protocols, the skills, talents, the knowledge, the wisdom, okay? The tools. Patience, I think, is a big one. The mystery card will be probably more specific. May even be the same card. You never know. Now, there is a reference to a grandmother energy, like you learned something from your not from your grandmother, but from like one of her friends or something. Like, I don't know if that's like where you learned tarot, or that's where you got into some kind of a science, or some kind of a, maybe like you learned manifestation from your grandma's friend or something like that. Yeah. I'm also wondering about grandma's house. If there's some kind of property that you're trying to acquire, her property, or there's something to do with her estate, or something that I don't know, if it feels like a piece of land or something, or her house, or something that you own it, or you've inherited it, or you're trying to fix it, or something like that, right? Anyway, that's what we have with these two cards, is the growth and the sort of looking at the past, understanding the practical wisdom, what you've acquired through that activity, okay? Underneath the surface, we have kind of a counteractive force in a way, because we have fire and earth again, but the Eight of Pentacles is a card of patience. The Eight of Wands is a card of impatience, yeah? And so I kind of feel like you're learning how to temper yourself a little bit, because maybe we are a little bit eager. You have all this fire. The Emperor wants to hurry up and go, hurry up and go, hurry up and go, hurry up and go. And right now you're kind of like, you're trying to calm that down. You're trying to realize that true power isn't in just like opening the floodgates and letting that power go, pedal to the metal. That true power is how you harness it, right? And how you're able to be efficient with that power. And that's echoed in your Five of Wands too. This is the card that says, power isn't always about how hard or fast I can go. You don't have to demonstrate your power by always showing your teeth. Sometimes your power is best utilized through restraint. And this is a Saturn in Leo energy. Saturn here as well. Saturn here as well. So you're understanding, I think, the part of the tool that you're acquiring, part of this practical wisdom, is about how to more efficiently use your spiritual energy in a way that's not wasteful. It's not, with the Ten of Wands, sometimes you're making the job harder on yourself. So we're learning how to use the dynamics of our spirit to go faster or slower depending on what the circumstances require, how to be as efficient as we can. It may be that back here there was a lot of wasted energy. Saturn over here may be saying that we didn't have enough discipline or enough restraint or enough control. It wasn't efficient. This is now Saturn in Leo saying, I kind of know what fine tuning I had to do in order to be better at using my energy. So I think that you're able to use less energy, but travel a further distance. Yeah. And the Eight of Wands sometimes shows the energy loss in any kind of a closed system. Doesn't matter what it is. Let's say this is the car. You put gas in the car, and that gas, the gasoline, right, gets converted to energy. That energy gets transmitted through the transmission to the wheels, and you You put the rubber on the road, and you travel. Even though E equals mc squared, there's always some kind of loss. There's imperfection. There's just an inherent entropy in everything. I don't know what it is technically. I'm not a physicist or whatever, but I don't understand thermodynamics all that well. But it seems to me like even though you put in 10 units of gas, you only get like 9 units of energy. Where did the other unit, where was that waste? Where did it go? Well, it was absorbed into the engine. It was absorbed into the metal. It just kind of disappeared. It just decided it didn't want to burn. Whatever the case is, it just, I don't know, it snaps out of existence. It teleports to a different universe. Who knows where it goes? But the idea here is that there's always an energy leakage somewhere. So in some ways, this is us plugging up some of our leaks, trying to make our system as efficient as possible so we don't have energy leakages. Even though there will always be some, you're going to put in level 10 effort, you're going to get only a 9 out on the other side. And that's just the way it is, okay? And it's sometimes we say, well, then I'll put in 11 units of gas, and then I'll get my 10 in energy, in power, right? Still doesn't work that way. You could put in 11 units of gas, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. You'll still only get 9 in the output. Okay, maybe even it'll start being less. I only got 8 in the output. Well, why is that? Well, maybe you're adding more fuel, it adds more weight, and there's that loss there. There's always some kind of an inconsistency. It's not a 1-to-1 ratio like you would expect, So this under the surface is how we all, in our daily lives, are leaking energy in some way through our habits and behaviors, through our physical movements. My physical movements on this channel aren't, when I'm doing these readings, they're not always the most conservative. They're not always the most energy efficient. I'm Italian. I talk with my hands a lot, I could probably conserve that energy by just being very still and not moving very much and just talking like this, but I'm not going to. It feels awkward. I like to move. But we understand our energy leakages in other ways too. Is our attention being split into too many things? Or do we have too many relationships that are draining us? Are you involved in some habits or some lifestyle things or some kind of, some distractions that are drawing out your energy too much? How do we produce the kind of power we want? This is all about your power drive, remember. That's something that we got to look at. Because back here with the 10 of Wands, this is a lot of pressure on you, a lot of responsibility. This is a card of maximum effort. And I think we're trying to figure out how to make this more efficient. And whether this is, again, kind of like, do I need to bring a buddy on board? Do I need to find a way to, maybe I have to tune up the engine differently, you put some different spark plugs in there, it'll maybe be more efficient with burning the gas. We're looking at the past. You're looking at this past segment of your life, whether it's a particular activity or just a time frame. And you're thinking, how was my energy used? Identify the leakages. Identify what you did right, what you maybe did wrong. Look at the wins and the losses. Look at the W's and the L's. Look at the pluses and the minuses to see how you refilled your energy and then how you spent it again. And see how it's not a 1-to-1 ratio. Somewhere something went poof. Let's plug up as many of those leaks as we can, but you have to be able to look at your past to see where all of that has taken place. Again, looking at the long and winding road, the ups and downs, twists and turns. Mentally and emotionally, physically, spiritually, energetically, the whole shebang. Okay? Because the Ace of Pentacles, because your life is going to continue. Because the Queen of Pentacles is going to look at the past, get the wisdom, learn the skills, understand the efficiency and all that stuff. Because you're going to move forward again. Because there's a new step for you to take in a forward direction. Time is marching on. Yeah. Now you do something with beeswax as well, don't you? I don't know if you use it on something. Almost feel like you're You're putting beeswax on like some kind of wood or something like that, yeah. And you like to read by candlelight. Is that right? I like it. I like doing that too. The Ace of Pentacles is what you're conscious of right now. It's at the top of the path of the dove because this is what you're looking at. This is kind of like what's looming over your head. You're like, I know that I've got to begin the next phase of life. You know that your journey is continuing. It's kind of like there's another step for you to take. So, of course, you're going to look at what happened already and get the tools you need because your job's still there. You know, your life is still going. So the big reading, kind of in a nutshell, is this is the next step you have to take. And you're going to make sure this is the best step of your life. This is going to be, an improvement from the last phase of either the last project or the last span of time. And so this is why you're looking back at the past. Well, because there's a future too. You've got to step forward. So you're trying to recapitulate all this past energy so that you can continue with your manifestation. Of course, you're stepping into the power of the Emperor. This is your power drive. Any kind of motivation, anything, any human endeavor requires three drives. The creative drive, what are you in service to that's outside of your ego? What's the top level? What's the reason why you want to manifest? And of course, you have your pleasure drive, which is part of ego, and your power drive, which is part of ego. Because it's saying that, I have to enjoy it. You want to enjoy what you're doing. You want there to be some emotional reward. And the power drive is saying, you want to feel capable of doing this. You want to feel alive. You want to feel your hands upon the wheel, and you want to feel the power, the power in your seat as you drive your car through the universe, or your chariot maybe. So this is that power drive. It's also called the aggressive drive. It really is just our sense of agency and autonomy, our confidence, our fortified ego. The ego feels the power, right? And it has to use that power responsibly, right? With great power comes great responsibility. And so we want to be as efficient as possible. You want to make sure that you're using your power to the best of your ability in service to that higher level purpose, whatever it might be for you. Yeah. This is kind of, the reality on the ground is that you want to do it better. You want to be a better manifester. More efficient, more powerful, to make more progress using less resources. In whatever domain, work, home, school, finances, your physical life, your spiritual practice, whatever it is, we want to make the most progress using the least amount of resources. Now, on the path of the serpent, talk about these cards. By the way, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do. Your general energy now is that Five of Wands, because this is like the gas pedal of the car. You know when to step on the gas more, when to let off the gas. You know how to use. When you're driving a car, I don't know if you drive, but I've had driving jobs my whole life. I've been driving for like 20-something years now. No, 30 years. I've been driving for 30 years. I'm old. And you kind of get a feel for like how to drive the car to get the most efficient fuel economy, So you're understanding like how to use the terrain, use the energy around you, use the contours of space and time to be more efficient. So when you're going downhill, you can let off the gas and let gravity accelerate the car. And then as you're coming to a level position, you just you put on the gas a little bit, and you're the new cars now, they have a little gauge that tells you what your real-time miles per gallon is, or kilometers per gallon, depending if you live in the rest of the world. And so it kind of gives you a real-time feedback about your efficiency. Now, I sure wish the rest of life was like that too. I wish in everything I did, I could see a little meter that told me, am I being more efficient or less efficient? But that's what the gas pedal's for, in part, right? The rest of it is kind of how you're navigating and how you're using the tools available to you. But right now it's about that power drive, how you are producing power at the wheels and how you're being efficient doing that. You understand when to push on the gas more and come up to speed, when to just let off the gas and coast a little bit. In a way, this is a card of picking your battles. Are you somebody that you're washing dishes and you're just scrubbing the dishes really, really, really hard? Well, that's kind of an energy leakage, isn't it? You're using way too much force. Sometimes you got to scrub them. But maybe you can just, if you use the right combination of water and heat and soap, you can just scrub them gently. You know? So sometimes we end up putting in way too much force into our tasks that don't require that much force. That's something that we can take a look at in life, you know. In the environment, you have the universe or the world. This is what you're trying to create. This is your manifestation. You're creating your personal reality. And how you use your power right now is going to determine what your reality looks like. Fire and earth. This is all about what you're manifesting. Okay. Now, this is very basic. We don't need to talk much about this card. This is literally your environment. This is literally the world around you and how your efforts are changing that world. Okay, we're about to take the next step toward manifesting our ideal world, the world that you want to see, that you want to exist within, right? Our next card is the Five of Pentacles, 5 and 5, fire and earth again. All fire and earth. This is amazing. The Five of Pentacles is you literally doing the thing, literally on the new activity. The fives are kind of the real-time activities. Remember, the Queen is looking at the past, looking at your past act. This is how you wash the dishes yesterday. Okay, maybe you use a little too much energy. Maybe it's like it really wore you out. This is a card of exhaustion. I put in level 10 energy, but you know what? The dishes didn't get any cleaner. So we identified some energy leakages because you know what? Tomorrow you're going to have to do the dishes again. Well, we're taking our power. We're the authority here. We're fortifying our ego here. So now this is you washing the dishes again. But now we understand how to use our energy in the right way to optimize the outcome while being very efficient with the input, output. And maybe this is now a 5 and a 5. Maybe we've found that sweet spot. We know we can't go level 10 effort and get level 10, result, output, level 10 output. But maybe we realize that you scale it back a little bit. And if you go like a, 5, 6, 7, 8 on the input, you'll get a 5, 6, or 7 on the output. It's as close to 1-to-1 ratio as possible. It's never going to be perfect. Because if it was 1-to-1, it could be 10-to-10, it could be 100-to-100, it could be 50-to-50, whatever. Right? 1-to-1, no. It's going to be 1 to maybe like 0.8, 0.9. Yeah. But I think that the fives are here to say that we've found that sweet spot where it's the closest ratio we could get to power at the wheels, to speed, let's say, or distance or progress and effort. Yeah, I hope that makes sense. Maybe somebody can help me clarify that. If you're a physicist or thermodynamic person, I don't know those things. I'm not that smart. But anyway, that's the 5. Finding the closest ratio that we can. Yeah. And we're out and we're refining our work over and over again. So this was the last time that finding the inefficiencies there. You're going and you're doing it again, or you're doing something else again, or this is the next span of time, the next year of your life, or if you're going by months or whatever it is. And this is how we're trying to approach it again, but to be a little bit more efficient than we were last time. Of course, that Knight of Wands is us leaping into action and beginning the new thing, beginning again, okay, without hesitation. That you've done your Queen of Pentacles, you've looked at the manifestation from before, because that's then energizing you, giving you the right data, the right refinement, the right tools and skills and whatever that you need in order to leap into the future and start the next phase of your manifestation. Okay? So we have fire and earth again, but kind of in a reversed way. Looking at what we manifested in the past phase, the past cycle, and how we can then use that as in a practical way to begin the next cycle. So there we go. Let's look at the mystery card. I want this to be perhaps the Pleasure Drive, the Empress card. I feel like it's going to be something like the Chariot or the Wheel of Fortune or something like that. Maybe another 5 even. If you have a prediction, put it in the comments section below the video. Let's see what we have. The 4. So the 4 is it's a return to a baseline state. It's idling. You know, your car's idling. So this to me feels like we've reset. We went level 10. I drove the car around the track as fast as I could. And now I've stopped, and I've gone back to things. I've stopped the car, and I've gotten out of the car, and I'm looking at the data. And then that's where we get the Queen of Pentacles, right? And so this is the card that's saying, like, we're just about ready to get back in the car and take it for another test, take it for another run, take it for a spin, collect more data. You know, we're going to try again, and you're going to see how efficient you can be this time. But like we said, this was going to be the car that kind of showed you what the new tool is. And this is a card really of like going back to basics. This is the 8, right? This is the 4. And it kind of feels like we're going back to kind of basic principles, square one kind of thing. We're thinking of our foundational habits, the foundational things of your life that are preserving your energy, and how to maybe, with this card, how maybe to be more conservative. We want to save more of our energy because we know that by spending more of our energy, we're not getting the same return anyway. So this is a card that's maybe telling you that you're learning how to not spend your energy unless you really need to, or being way more protective of your energy. Yeah. So kind of, what's one way to be more efficient with your car? Well, don't drive your car, you know. So this is kind of the card that's telling you, don't expend all this extra energy unless it's something that is meaningful. It's kind of where you're trying to acquire more power. You're trying to build up a surplus even of your energy. Okay? And I think you can do that through some very basic practices in your life. Light exercise, you know, the right kind of eating, the right kind of intentional eating, intentional movement, adequate sleep, you know, and kind of reducing the stress and all that stuff. They're just kind of like these 4 pillars of general like power production and efficiency for you. And it may be that you're trying to look at all areas of your life, the basic areas of your life. This 4 is like the 4 elements. So you're looking at your physical energy, mental, emotional energy, and your spiritual, creative, your vital energy, and how all of those energy systems tie together. Are you wasting a lot of energy in your physical life that's then taking away from your creative work or your spiritual work, or it's making you feel mentally and emotionally kind of raw and exhausted? Okay? Are you experiencing an emotional drain of energy that's then affecting you physically? This card is about looking at all those energy systems and seeing how the engine ties into the transmission, ties into the electrical system, the cooling system, the entertainment system, right? All those other systems of the car. Getting back to those very fundamental practices that will allow you to build up a surplus of energy. Yeah, so what are those core practices for you? Leave that in the comments too. I'm curious what everybody thinks. Mine, of course, is adequate sleep, not eating too much food, stretching, right? Going for walks. Meditation is very important for me. And of course, playing some kind of a game, having some kind of fun. I like to play like, I don't know, like racquetball or tennis or something like that. I like that kind of a game, but let me know what it is for you, ways that you sort of build up your personal power and your energy. This is also a card of boundaries. Not letting that energy be sucked away from all these nonsense things out there, other people, other relationships, other distractions, kind of closing down, shutting down our boundaries a little bit. Okay. All right, now we're going to do an extended reading. If you want to stick around, we'll do an I Ching hexagram. We'll do some oracle cards. There is a link in the corner. There's a link down below. New readings for Gemini on Wednesdays and Sundays. Be sure to watch both readings. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Leave a comment and let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you are the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we are all in this together.